All right, Nobody Named Kevin podcast, jumping back in. We had a little bit of technical issues, but as we were saying about tattoo artists before we got cut off, because, computers suck sometimes. So, I still feel like that intimacy is going to be there.
Joe Rogan cut us off because he knows we're coming for his head. Yeah. But getting in there and, the intimacy of it, I think that's part of it to me, but also the disparity is what I was talking about. The disparity of, you're not a real artist. You just do your Photoshop mock-ups and load it up into this MRI machine. I actually tattoo my work. There's going to be something about that.
Well,
and then it's going to spiral another layer. 3 years after that, it'll be like, man, I want an actual artist to do my tattoos. Like the good old days.
So, here's my argument, though. That could still have a market. Because, think about it. There's still people who get, traditional Hawaiian tribal where they put the pen on the board, dip it in ink, and slap the board into your skin.
Yep.
There's still people who do that. So, it's not like that market
Customs, dude. Culture.
Yeah, it's not like that would get completely eliminated, but it could be the new age to me.
It would depend on what level. It would depend on what level of efficiency it takes over, because if it's more efficient, I don't know. It being a creative thing is it's hard to say, because Uber destroyed taxis. There's nothing romantic about, well, I want to take a taxi like the old days. So it really depends.
So that's just it, though.
I want to be scared for my life. Like the old days.
I feel like tattoo artists, though, it's a different kind of thing. It's not completely eliminating them. You know what I mean? Because there will still, to me, at least be that nostalgia. Because like you said, even you were looking at it and you're like, I don't know, I really like the intimacy that I have with the tattoo artist and stuff like that, which is a big deal to you. But it's doesn't mean there's not a market for it. You know what I mean? There could be those people who are I'm going to go to this machine. The machine tattoos really, really well. It's always consistent. That's what I want. So those people who are kind of scared of tattoos will jump to that field, but you'll still have the people who are into tattoos themselves and being with the artist and stuff like that. So I feel like it works on multiple levels, but it wouldn't completely kill the industry.
Yeah, it could be bad things, because the people that would try that would mostly be people who are new to getting tattoos, because they would feel safer, more sterile. They'd be like, I want to have zero mistakes. I just want it to be, how it is. Yeah. I think the little imperfections and kind of gives it character.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be, like you said, there's going to be I want it exactly perfect. I want a laser to do it. Whatever the case may be.
It's also limitations to that, though.
Right. And also oh, well, no, all my 5 tattoos are automated. I'm planning on getting my real one next year. I don't know. That's
it's an impulse decision thing.
It's not impossible.
Yeah. You don't have to go to a scary tattoo shop like Devin's saying. You could be like, oh, hey guys, we just turned 18. Let's go down and get in the laser machine, and whoa, that's crazy, Oh.
And how efficient is it? Because what if I want my calf done? Takes 5 minutes. That would just be so weird.
And now if it was fast like that, then what you were saying earlier, what's it gonna be to make it be better than Uber and taxis? What makes it more efficient? That would be and Clayton, what Clayton was saying, and people would flock to that.
So here's my thing. I don't think I could get to that capability, because even knowing I've worked on plasma tables, water jets, and knowing how 3D printers work, dude, because it's having to do such precision and stuff like that, it's slow. It takes time. It's not a quick thing. Even a plasma table, you can give for AC duct, you can give it 20 sheets worth of work. It's gonna be 2 or 3 hours worth of cutting.
It could still be shorter than 3 to 6 hours.
I don't disagree, but I don't think it completely would drastically do it. If it was I can get a full sleeve done in 5 minutes, that would destroy people.
It'd be done. It would be game. Oh yeah, it'd be game over.
But that's my thing. I don't think it would ever be to that point. Like, I just don't think it would.
I'm gonna go get a tattoo on my lunch break.
Like the computing power that it would take.
Oh.
But now the other thing you would miss out too is like the like Devin said, the experience of like I know he said it before, but like getting it to heal right and stuff. You wouldn't have the tattoo artist to give you your suggestions and tell you what to do on it.
That's an easy fix.
Dude,
they just print out here's your aftercare.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I was gonna say, if the machine's that advanced, it'd probably just wrap your arm in something or like put a moisturizer.
No, not even
or whatever.
wrap it. Not even wrap it. It just here's your receipt. If you look on the back, there's your aftercare. You can scan the QR code, leave us a review. Thanks. See you next time. Like that's pretty much what it would be.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So what should I do if it does? I don't know, sir. YouTube it. I just worked the front desk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's my thing. There's enough flaws that I could see in it that it would still take off, but there would still be a reason for traditional tattoo artists.
Always. It's like what Devin said. It's a creative process. It's art. People are always going to be more willing to pay for someone's brain to create something than a machine until the machine surpasses.
Well, not even the human would create it, but doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They put their own emotion into it. That's what I was saying. The machine is always going to be limited. Like you're not going to be able to have a finished tattoo, and then you have to be happy with it with the machine. But you could tell your artist, hey, like, can I get an extra swoop right here, or can you shade this in just a little bit darker? And sure, no problem. Or can you add like some little extra piece accessory to this picture? The machine, you'd be done. To schedule a whole nother thing. And how would that work? How would adding to a tattoo work? Difficult.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it would be an end all be all, but it's just like a thought I have in my mind of like, could that happen? And in my mind, I'm like, realistically, probably could if someone actually decides to innovate in the right way, right areas, and if the technology's there right now.
I mean, right there, it's laser removal. I don't know if we have laser addition yet. But yeah,
I picture like.
Well, see, y'all keep on thinking like laser adding on. I'm not thinking laser adding on. I'm thinking like still a needle and everything. It's just the machine and the lasers are telling the needle where to go. Like this is one of those things.
That to me, I would never swap.
So like my thing is like, dude, that would be genius. And there's like part of me that's like, dude, this is a really great idea. If I was a lot smarter and had enough money to throw at this, I could develop this. This might not be a horrible thing.
Laser guided needles?
Yeah, like because think about it, the laser is so precise. The only thing is that there's an experience level with tattoo artists. So I would have to get together with a really good tattoo artist of being like, hey, I got an idea, but you know colors better. So I need you to tell the machine what colors are going to look best, what shade is going to look best, what does it need to do here to make this color.
Dude, it would have to be an artificial intelligence machine because it would have to analyze each skin color, tone, and like how sensitive it is. Is the skin going to bleed as soon as I touch it? Or is it going to accept the ink, reject it? Like there's a lot of factors.
Like he's saying, because like sometimes like we're talking about earlier, the artist knows that okay, you're getting like really red. I'm gonna work on this side now for an hour. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the bottom. Okay, now the other side that was red looking fine. Hey, you're about to start bleeding and a lot of plasma is gonna come out of you. Just don't look at it, like because that's the thing too. Like getting the chest tattoo, like a lot of it was white. I was like, are you already coloring it in? She's like, oh no, that's your blood. And she's like wiped it off and kept going. And I'm just like, I didn't want to look at
Plasma's white? I've never seen it. That's creepy.
I don't know. I think it's something interesting and I could see it being the future. And I'm like, dude, if I can make this happen, even if you make it something simple, like, hey, it only does like forearm tattoos, something like that.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see like 1,000,000 needle or like 1,000 needles all just come in at once. Like they already have like the picture pointed out and they all have their different colors of ink and it's just like a next to
so picture. Like here's my thing with that is like a stamp system wouldn't be bad on it if you went stamp system. The problem is with the way that like needles and tattoo guns work, they're not that thin. Like the machine that actually holds it is a little bit bigger to hold the needle and put the ink in the right spot. So I'm like, I don't know if you could get it small enough to where you can get all those needles where it needs to be with the right amount of ink and just have it hit.
Probably build it vertically. I mean, there'd be so much to development, but speaking of the stamps, I mean, yeah, I'm like, that'd be great for the government, because then we could already just start handing out the barcodes and start this next Holocaust up. That's pretty much where we could go with that.
Or
stamp our super soldiers too.
God, you always gotta make my ideas some way to tie into how I'd be helping the government. Every time.
I mean, it's the reality of it. I mean, dude, there's already. I mean, what's an RFID chip? Just a SIM card, right? Come on, I got 3 of them on me. I probably got 4 of them on me, really.
I don't understand how you're taking my tattoo idea and spinning it into the government would use this. Like, it's just. Dude. Oh, just every idea I throw out, you're just like, the government would take it over.
They would.
Oh my God! I know it's happened.
The cabal would catch wind.
I know it's happened with like Nazi Germany and stuff like that, but Jesus Christ, like they still have tattoos now. Like the government hasn't fully invaded traditional tattoo artists.
That's too slow. You're talking about making it fast, efficient, the stamps, the barcodes. All it's going to take is Logan Paul and David Dobrik shouting from the rooftops, "Hey, I got my barcode, kids." While you're, doing the new dance of the day for TikTok, go get your barcodes, kids.
Bro, David Dobrik's screwed right now. I don't know if you've been following what's going on with him, but he's kind of screwed right now.
I saw a Philip DeFranco headline with it, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it's been a huge problem, and to be honest, man, I don't know if they're going to come back from this one, to be honest with you. And
it's Logan Paul too, or just David?
Just David and the Vlog Squad.
No, Logan's not in this controversy, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's...
Well, what is the controversy? Can you talk about it? I don't even...
So, like, I know enough, but at the same time, it's like, dude, I also don't know the facts of the situation, so, like, I'm going to stay out of it and not take a hard stance, but, like, I have my general opinion on it. So, back in the day when he was doing his vlogs and stuff like that, it was one of his earlier on vlogs, like, probably, like, 100 to, like, 300, somewhere in that section. They essentially had a bunch of girls come over to the apartment. They were underage. One of the, like, 2 of the Vlog Squad members allegedly went and got alcohol, got them extremely drunk, and one of them sexually assaulted one of the younger girl, or one of the girls that was
drinking.
There was
supposed to be a threesome or a fivesome, turned into like a very awkward one-some to twosome to threesome.
Yeah,
to assault,
but
it's not a good look.
There was a lot of pressuring. There was some intense negotiations going on for sure. But now it's like coming to light. On top of he made these people do this kissing prank, but didn't. He was actually kissing an old man, not a girl. He thought he was kissing. That's kind of what kicked it off.
Mm-hmm. And now it's all the other stuff coming in, and it's like, my thing is, honestly, like, when I look at that group, there's part of me that does not, like, I believe that it's all true. Like, if, like, knowing that I've watched all those vlogs, you can see the predatory nature in it and the power dynamic that goes into it. You can tell, like, it's talking a bunch of people into doing shit that they really don't want to do, but because it's such a power dynamic, that's how they talk them into doing it. And it's like, oof. Like, it's very predatory. So for me, it's like, I kind of believe it's true, to be honest. Like, just watching it all, like, watching all of them, you can feel the predatory nature in it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I've seen some of his videos. I didn't think they were bad or anything, but I wouldn't doubt it.
They're highly entertaining, but
yeah.
It's one of those things.
So when Devin brought up the pressuring, I immediately thought of the scene from It's Always Sunny in Philly where they have the boat. Immediately, dude, in
the implication.
It's the implication when we're out in the middle of the ocean and we've been drinking a little bit and they can't go anywhere. It's just the implication. It's like, Dennis, I think you're trying to rape these women. What? No, I don't want to hurt these women. It's just the implication.
Dude, yeah, no, dude. Always Sunny.
I'm part of the vlog squad. Don't you want to get famous? Like,
exactly.
I got you alcohol. I mean, come on. I got tons of fun with Vlog Squad, baby.
Vlog Squad, baby.
I don't know. It's still hilarious to me, but like, dude,
That's not bad. I should be laughing.
I love Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, me and Quentin had a conversation over this when I was at his house. Of like, dude, it's one of those shows that goes so far against the grain that it's like it's weird that you enjoy it. Cause like I was telling Quentin, it's like, dude, they're all horrible people. There's not a redeeming quality to these people. And every time they're like, you're going to get a redeeming quality, it's like, no, we are going to make them do the worst thing possible. Yet you still love it for some reason.
I'm adding that to my resume. I was assaulted by the Vlog Squad.
Jesus, man.
I don't know, bro. I mean, you can definitely tell the difference between the Vlog Squad and like
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Like, no, I think that one might be staged.
Parallels. There's parallels.
I was gonna say between like Ross Creations, dude. His like are much more casual and laid back, and no one feels forced to do anything. No one's like, "Oh, do this, dude, do this."
Top 10 vlogs who give predatory vibes, and then like bottom 5 who don't. Predatory vibes.
Bottom 5.
I just love, like, in retrospect, it's like, watching those, I did get predatory vibes.
Well, dude, no, like, for me, it's not a looking back thing. Like, I remember, like, watching them and still feeling that way watching them. Now, it still was super entertaining to watch. Like, I didn't hate the video. I'm just, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, dude, I always kind of got those vibes. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look too bad. And then they're, like, now looking back at some of those, I'm like, yeah, that was a real power dynamic problem right there.
And so, like, that's kind of the scary thing of, like, I guess being famous. You know what I mean? Not that you can get caught. It's more that you will get caught. And I'm not saying we should try to get away with things like this. All I'm saying is, like, whatever you do, it's going to come to light eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is just the true nature of it. And whether it's a week from now or several years from now, I guess I'm sure that gets in your head. You're like, all right, I got away with that. I can get away with it again. Or whatever it is, that power gets to your head. But it always comes back. Like, always.
Especially if you're recording it and making a video out of it.
Yeah, you're posting.
Oh, you're recording your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I think about that with the podcast sometimes. I'm like, anyone can listen to this information.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's weird to think about sometimes.
Part of me is just like, dude, I got to be okay with it and just understand, like, I am who I am, regardless of whether people like me or not. Like, I've had to, like, even in my day-to-day life, like, I've had to learn that it's like, dude, I have to be happy with who I am at the end of the day. And, like, the thing is, people change constantly, and I feel like that's something that's kind of forgotten on the internet, is, like, people change. Stances change. The way you look at things change.
Your opinions can change, sir.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah, well, and that's the thing.
On the internet, though, they treat it like that's how you are forever.
Right, and that's like that is the thing. That's the only thing that worries me. Is like something I'm saying here is going to get like clipped out of context one day and like put up against something else I said, and it's like, yeah, you didn't think that then. And I'm like,
right now in this video, we're laughing about the Vlog Squad and their assault, so we could be blasted for that.
I wasn't laughing at the girl. No, I wasn't laughing at the girl.
I know.
That's my resume. Yeah, I was assaulted by the Vlog Squad. Prove me wrong. But yeah, like, yeah, no, for real. Like, or like I am being sarcastic or something, and it's like, over.
Well, like, that's my
before
thing,
it even starts.
Like, I feel like in podcasts, you can get away with it more because the difference with a podcast is you can show the context. Like, you can literally be like, cool, they took a 30-second clip. Here's the actual 5-minute thought process on it. Where
led up to that.
Yeah, so, like, I feel like
you didn't
when it comes to podcasts, you can more express and also be like, here's this timestamp to this timestamp. Watch that, and that will show you that it was taken out of context. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, yeah, it's like, bro, you don't know the saga. Did you watch the prior 12 hours of Nobody Names Kevin to even understand the nuance behind the bit we were doing and the layers that we have crafted here? The fact that you won't put in the hours, like a Lord of the Rings extended cut, into our ramblings is not only shameful, but a disgrace to everyone in your bloodline that's come before you and after. And I hope you know that. That's how I feel.
You should send that to my brother.
Yeah, so let's
Why?
Because
just that.
Because he was like, man, I subscribed to your channel, but I just can't watch it, man. I was like, why? I was like, is it boring? He's like, no, I think it's a generational thing. I just missed the wave. He's like, that's long.
I think
3 hours. That's
I
a
think
long
it's because
time,
it just hits a little too close
It's
to
not
home.
even a generational thing, bro. It's
like,
not even
really?
a generational thing. We are literally insane doing consistent 3 hours. Like, there's people with 50,000 followers that like they do 45 minutes.
Oh, dude, to me, that feels normal. Like that's like it thinks like Joe Rogan or something.
Well, it's like the argument too of like there's gonna be different audiences. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your brother has forms of media he enjoys watching and other forms that we enjoy watching that don't overlap at all. That's part of anyone in their taste. Like, the same reason, you know, I love a particular movie and y'all refuse to watch it. Like, we just have different taste and y'all seem to hate me, which is fine. Like, I get it.
You know what's bad, dude? Is it was on cable in the house I was staying in over the weekend.
Dude, it just upsets me.
What are the chances of that? It was airing next to the original Terminator.
God, it just bugs me so much that y'all won't watch it. Like, you have no idea how much this bugs me.
It's on Hulu, right?
Yes, I just need confirmation that it's good. Like, my coworker.
I mean, I'm sure it's good.
My coworker.
What does Rotten Tomatoes think of it?
I don't know. Let me look it up. But it still bugs me. Is there a score I could?
Tomato score.
Okay, so if I
give the tomato score?
No. So set your bottom limit, and if it's above that, you have to watch it.
90.
Okay.
I can just get ridiculous with that.
Pick 90.
I can just get ridiculous with that.
Okay. No, pick a realistic number.
I bet it's above a 58. I bet it's above a 58.
Okay. If it's above a 58, are you gonna watch it?
Of course.
I
We're
feel
going
like
off
you're
Metacritic,
lying.
Rotten Tomatoes. What are we going off?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten
Oh, yeah,
Tomatoes.
Metacritic's video games.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me Devin, what did you say it was?
It's got to be above a 58. I'm sure it is.
Okay. And what about you, Quentin?
I'll watch it, bro. I just gotta get around to it.
No, don't just guess. What do you think it's at or above? Like what do you think?
I mean, I've heard of that one a lot. I would say like a 70.
Okay, so it's IMDb is 7.7. It's Rotten Tomatoes is 76. Metacritic is 74.
Oh, okay.
I need you people to watch this movie.
My next guess was 78.
I need you people to watch this movie. It bugs me so much. Even if it's just one of y'all, I need y'all to watch it. Just somebody. It just bugs me so much. It's like
Devin sends you a video of Atlas watching it.
Even then, at least I have something to talk with Atlas about, okay? He may not be able to give me a good thought process on it, but I mean, I definitely don't think a kid should be watching that movie.
What would David Dobrik think of this movie? That's what I want to know.
You are not David Dobrik, bro.
I don't know, man. The Vlog Squad, see what they think.
What would the Vlog Squad think of this movie? What, Alex? 6 out of 7 members prefer it, or like what? Like, let's take it to one of those TikTok houses and just have all the TikTok kids. Dude, these are a thing. So like they'll have like they call them content houses.
Mm-hmm.
So they just put a bunch of influencers in a house. They have to work all the time, but they just put them all in the house and constantly pump out content in the content houses. And it's usually like some older middle-aged guy who's a businessman and he's just like making money off all these people. He's like, this is great.
That sounds like prostitution.
No, not at all.
Prostitution involves sex. So while you're close,
that is
like,
a no.
But
no, okay,
but no cigar.
Like, it sounds like. Have y'all ever seen that Netflix documentary about girls that do porn? What was the name of it?
I have no
That
idea.
wasn't on Netflix. You watched
Yes,
that
it
on
was
X
on
videos and you know it.
No, it was on Netflix. Dude, it was interesting, but it was the same idea that you're saying. Like some middle-aged man has a house and he flies all these young girls out and he just makes money off of them while they live there and do their work.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Hey,
It's literally what you just described.
Okay. So your argument is
I thought
that's
about doing this.
No,
Dude,
I'm not.
okay.
Not
No.
an argument. I'm just
No.
comparing.
Hold on. I need to.
Here's
hold
how
on.
we can make this work.
No. Let me point out how stupid that was. Okay.
What do you mean?
So this guy has an idea, right? He brings a bunch of people together and they make a product and he sells that product and profits off it. Yeah, that's business. Like that's literally any business. You're just like, oh, that's like prostitution. It's like, I guess in some broad scheme it could be.
Well,
like it's the fundamentals of business.
I guess because the
That's
vlog
what I was
squad is
thinking. I
fresh
was
on
like,
my
sounds
mind.
like
I'm thinking that in the house.
Right.
I don't know.
Jesus.
Well, I thought that was going to be probably my second rebuttal. It's like, sounds like a 9 to 5 to me, but yeah, sure, we can get the sex work.
Yeah, I'm just like, there's that part of me that's just like, how did he just go like, this sounds like like a broad scheme of like business, and he's like prostitution. That's what it is. It is exactly like prostitution.
Dude,
and I'm like, how?
Ever since Devin opened my eyes as a young man that dating is basically prostitution, that's all I can see. I don't even know if he'll agree with those words now, but you take the woman out, you spend money on her, you spend gas to pick her up.
Okay, I definitely
probably
retract these statements at this point in time that you are
money
alleging
on her.
I said.
You spend money, buy her gifts, you take her home, and then maybe you might get something in return.
Yeah, because the implication.
The implication, exactly.
Jesus, no. God,
So yes,
Christ.
my opinions for the record. For court record, yeah, I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind since I was 14. Please don't cancel me.
Can you please speak up for the wiretaps that we have going in, please? We didn't quite get that statement clearly.
Yeah, and if any government agents are listening, but the whole thing about the porn house, the content house, yeah, it's just business, man. Yeah.
Oh no, okay, yeah. I mean that is just business.
Because I thought about doing that with I thought about doing that with like OnlyFans. Like, what if I built a conglomerate house? But then I'm like,
you could do that, dude.
They could do it. Yeah, but they could do it themselves. They'd have to really sell them on like, hey, look, I'll do the marketing, I'll do all the posting, like I'll run the ads. Yeah, I'll manage it. You have to make content.
That's kind of the problem is OnlyFans, the whole point of it is it's independent. You know what I mean? Like that business idea has already been done. There's a reason why OnlyFans is big that's because it gets around that business model.
That's true.
Well, and it would, I mean, let's say you do that, like you'd have to get it to the point where you're making so much money. It's easier and better for them to do it through you versus like, I literally can just take my own name and do it myself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you'd have to be like, I got a set, I have cameras, do what you want, and it's like renting a space for so many hours. Like, me and Selena went to this place in Arizona. It's called like a selfie museum, and we like rented it for like an hour, and it was just us in there, and there's like different setups you could take pictures in with lighting and stuff. It would essentially be like that. You just rent a space, like an individual.
Well,
That's what
it's more like. Okay, rating your set. Okay, I see what you're saying. You would make money off of the set.
Like I already have equipment here
like,
for y'all to take pictures and setups. That's what I'm providing. And then
right. I mean, you just have to convince. Yeah, there's so much to that because it's like you have to. I don't know. You have to be at this place. You just have to really go hard on the idea of like, look, you're gonna have to promote yourself, and you don't want to do that. I'll do the promotion.
Like the thing is though too is like the only way I feel like you could pull something off like that is if you were already a female in the OnlyFans scene that was pretty big. And then it just comes down to like how YouTube is, where it's like, oh, we'll do shout outs and stuff like that, and we'll link to your stuff. You know what I mean? Like you need to be big enough in the scene. It's not something that I feel like you could just start. You know what I mean? You'd have to have skin in the game for it to even be able to be possible.
Yeah, get that star power of like, look, I'm already in the top 2%. You're just going to write off my brand name. Here's how we're just going to kind of boost you up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I don't know.
Makes sense. Obviously, I haven't pursued it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it was like a shower thought one morning. I'm like, what if I had this conglomerate? And then I'm like, or what if I got like the top person, and then like, I don't know, like they built like a course, and we had like an OnlyFans Academy, and then like, you know, but then again, it's like you fall back into the algorithm and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't break the mold enough to be something. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's weird thoughts on it that I have.
Dude,
sorry guys.
So the weird, dumb. So like the other thing about the automation we were talking about with the tattoos, I forgot to bring it up. But speaking of automation and art, it is weird how things are going to transform in the future, because I remember we had to talk last time on the NFT episode, which we're going to upload to OpenSea here in a few minutes. The AI Eminem voice, and the guy who does that, he made a full version of My Name Is as if Eminem wrote it in 2021. So he has the full song made, and it's crazy because that's how, like, you know, they do posthumous albums. You know, they scrape together what was left of the artist, and they make an album out, and they feature a bunch of current artists. Now they have so much like recordings, they can just make brand new songs with their likeness. So it's like you're going to fall into a weird area of who owns the likeness. Like his estate owns it, and then who is allowed to write and make the music, because you have to be able to write like him or in a way that'd be similar to him. And then like have
royalties for all that.
I don't know. Even then, dude, it's like, I don't know. You've made that argument about it, but my problem is like, it's still a person writing it. It's like whenever you brought it up to me, I remember it just being like, the fact to me is like, you bring it up and you're like, oh yeah, the system can rap it in his voice and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, like there's still that part of me that it's like, you'll never still be able to hit the cadence in which he did and the talent with the words that he did. Like it may be similar.
Well, no, it rhymes in his cadence.
It's just like AI being able to make their own music based off other noises that it's heard.
That's just it. It's not like, I don't know how to describe it. It's not AI enough. It's someone who like think text to speech is how Devin's described it to me. The guy writes it out and it just does it in his voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not like robotic. It's not just like...
I'm not saying that it's robotic, but what I'm saying is like there's still that human element to that. For me, like I want it to be further along, I guess is a good way to put it, is like I would love it if it was like examining his writing structure to his verses and stuff like that and his bars and everything he puts into it, and that it studied the algorithm very much, that he was like, let me put a brand new song together with brand new words. I have the voice and everything like that, but it's learned his creative path to it, and it can do it perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that would be more creative and more impressive to me personally.
Which is in a level impossible for a computer to understand that. So you'd have to have like 2 to 3 people that could write similar and to cojoin and agree on like, okay, this is what it should sound like. Because, dude, I don't know. If y'all listen to it, and it's not just like Eminem's not the only person they have like fake music of right now. That's just the most popular one. Probably your average person wouldn't know because it just flows. There is like a few parts that like you might catch if you are like an avid rap music listener or maybe like a big Eminem fan or of that specific artist. Because if you're not familiar with that artist, you might not notice, because they have Biggie and they have DMX AI. If you're not a big fan of either of them, you're probably not going to know that's not actually them.
Well, see that.
And then also, if you're not told, if you're not presented, hey, going into this is a computer. If like I just put it on, my fault.
You're not gonna know.
See, that's just me. It's like, for me, it's too early along for me to care, I guess, is the problem with it. Like, for you find it really cool, really interesting that the computer can make his voice. Like, that's what you find interesting about it. For me, it's like, dude, I could care less who's rapping it to a degree and what the voice is. I want to know if it can learn the structure. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's impressive to me, because I feel like that's actually pushing the limit on the computer rather than having the computer make the tones in the right manner and stuff like that. I guess it's just a different part of being interested in it. You know what I mean? So, like, for you...
they still...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I mean, like, they still would be, like, writing and understanding, like, what it is to create music, because...
But what I'm saying is, what's not impressive to me is a human doing that. Humans already done that. You get what I'm saying?
Just remix music.
It's
no. What Clayton's kind of what you're saying is, like, you're like, I'm not impressed until literally the computer program writes the entire song by itself.
Yeah, like that. Okay. That's what I would consider impressive. And I understand that's a big ask, and I get that.
They can do that now, though. AIs can do that instrumentally. I haven't seen it with the voice, but
that's
right. That's what he's saying. He's saying, like, specifically pick this artist. It can just do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Devin's picking up what I'm putting down. He finds a different aspect of it interesting and mind-blowing, whereas to me it's like, it's not where it needs to be for me to be interested in it. You get what I'm saying? It's not far enough down the path. Like, I want the system to be able to study, like, this is how he writes, this is perfectly him, rather than a human doing it. Because for me, it's like, Eminem already did that. He's human. That, like, a human has already done that. I want to see a computer do it because a computer hasn't done it before.
Like, you know someone summarizing an author, repainting a painting.
Exactly.
I think also, like
I don't think it's a bad idea.
I forgot what I was thinking.
Like, I don't think it's a bad idea. Like, I do think that's cool that computers can do that. Like, it's impressive, but it's not the impressiveness I want to see. It's like the same thing of, like, how me and you've had the discussion on VR, and to me it's like, it's not at the point to where I care.
Oh no, I definitely don't.
The other thing though, like, with, okay, so it would take some time to get to the beat of it, I think, would probably, because the AI Joe Rogan was just completely AI, and it literally sounded like him and stuff he would talk about.
Mm-hmm. But it's over a bigger...
I don't know if y'all watched it, but
it's over a bigger sample size. So I guess maybe that's it, is like with, like, think about Eminem and
you don't have to have Joe Rogan on a beat.
Yeah.
I think it's probably two. And then, like, he's talking about a team of highly trained monkeys that can play hockey. I'm like, this is very... I could see Joe Rogan talking about this. It studied his speech patterns, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying, is maybe there's not a big enough sample size to have the AI be able to do that. You know what I mean? Because, like, you think about it, like,
an AI will do podcasts.
Well, because like the Joe Rogan one, think about that. They have thousands of hours to go through. Whereas, like, let's say we go through Eminem, right? We look at all, like, let's say, because we wanted to study exactly his music structure, not his speaking structure. How many albums has he done?
Right. He'd have like a couple hundred hours versus several thousand.
Yes. Like, it's such a small sample
size. Which will be any musician, yeah.
So it's like that would be impressive to me, because that's a huge leap, is it can go off very little of what you said, but it can make it into something and study your speech patterns.
Have you seen the thing where they take people's face and then have speeches, like, with the AI, and it looks, dude, that with politicians, that's sketchy. I feel that way, like, with Joe. Dude, he's going to pass. We're not going to know it. And it's just going to be some person with a face up there.
Everybody says that, but, like, not going to happen. Like, it's such a big fear, but it's one of those things that it's like, dude, it's... Sorry. I don't feel like it's
going to happen. Okay, so did you watch...
would they? Why would they? Because we have a vice president. So why would we not just, like...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
To me, it doesn't,
thing I can imagine is just to keep power or keep security, like, so we don't look weak or something. But I don't know.
Even then, it's like, in the process, like, even then, it's like, okay, it has to happen within, let's say he gets reelected. That technology jump has to happen within 8 years.
already here, dude. It's been happening. Like, I mean, it's almost
not to the degree you're saying. So the flaws in that system. Okay, cool. Can it do it in person? Nope. Okay.
No, it's just
like,
video.
That's what I'm saying.
But he just never does. He just never does another in-person event. Just blames a different virus. It's like, no, we're just not going to do that.
See,
stay behind the podium.
That's just too far down the rabbit hole of conspiracy for me. Like, you know what I mean? Could it be a thing in the future? Yeah, but like,
what do you think about? What do you think about his speech where he called Kamala Harris president when he was like President Harris and I, and he was talking about the COVID relief, and he was like stuttering a lot throughout the speech. Like, dude, he seems a little off. And I voted for him, but he just seems a little off, dude.
Here's my thing with.
And then he stumbled up to Air Force One.
Okay, let's go through every like president we've had, dude. When you elect someone who's going to be 70 or 80 years old, do you really think they're going to make it through? Like, let's be honest. Donald Trump was a little off his rocker in some of the stuff he said. Like, like we picked one man hopped up on speed for another.
Lives.
Well, it's like, dude,
I think there's old people in our personal lives that were like, you're not even 70 yet, and you're a little off there.
Like, they've got them both hot. Like, we picked one old man hopped up on speed for another one hopped up on speed. Like, let's be honest, dude. If we want it, like even if you look at Obama, like, I'd say Obama's probably one of our best speaking presidents we've had in a long, long time. Like, really good, really charismatic.
Bro, even watching
he was so young
to Trump, it was so much better. Like, what happened to the presidential etiquette?
Not at all. So, like, you're thinking
really?
You're thinking etiquette. I'm not talking etiquette, and that's not where we were at in the subject. So we were talking about the simple fact of like the way they speak and their sentence structure and stumbling over it and stuff like that, and how well they were together. Bush was horrible at it. Like, are you kidding? Like, Bush was horrible at it. There's an old saying down in Texas. Like, just go down that rabbit hole of, like, there's an old saying in Texas. It might be in Tennessee, too.
Yeah.
Fool me once. And it's like, dude.
I hear it all the time.
You know what I mean?
Favorite
like,
song.
It happens all the time. Like, you pick an old man, like, mentally that's going to happen. Like, if you look at Obama, who I feel is, like, a really, really good speaker, I'm sure we can go through and nitpick it and find all these things he messed up, but it's probably less than the others because he's younger. Like, I'm pretty sure he was our youngest president in a long, long, long time.
And that's the other weird thing is like, think about the stress of your daily job right now. In your prime years, probably, your prime youth, the stress you can barely handle right now. All right, now you're 70 and you have the weight of a world superpower on your shoulders every day. That makes sense.
Well, like, so here's
my
thing with president is too is I feel like,
you know what?
I feel like when you get to that position, it's like, dude, I'm just here to not mess up. Just don't get impeached. That's your whole goal.
Just give me the prompter. I'll read it. You guys.
Everybody gets so mad at the prompter.
Characteristics of a strong leader. I just don't want to screw it up. I just kind of want to get by.
Dude, let's be honest though. Let's be honest. If you're in that position, are you going to go for a bunch of radical changes and a lot of high risk things? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna definitely have to be calculated.
Trump went for radical changes.
He really
might as well, dude.
Thing though, he really didn't get any radical changes and stuff like that.
He did do some stuff, dude.
He did. I don't disagree, but he didn't get any, like, his radical positions he took. He really didn't get.
I mean, he had a Muslim ban. He tore up the agreement between Iran or who is it? I don't know.
That's the problem with like any negotiation is like any policy set in place by any president at this point when it comes to like foreign affairs. Okay, just wait till the next president comes in. They're gonna rip that up, and it's gonna be a brand new deal every single time. So it's like, dude,
I'd be shaking people left and right.
You can't take it.
It depends, bro, because I don't think Obama came in and like ripped up anything Bush had going because we were still technically like overseas or whatever. He did say he was going to bring people home, but he took his time, dude.
He did it in the right...
Killed a lot of people.
He did it in the right manner. You know what I mean? But, like, even then, like, you go in and you negotiate, because, like, I don't know if Bush ever got to the point where he was discussing deals with Iran and stuff like that.
I think it was Obama that put in the Iran deal because he like, paid him so much money to not make nuclear weapons or something.
That's what I'm saying is, like, I don't feel like Bush ever got to that. Now, I could be completely out of my depth. Like, I haven't really looked into too much into Bush, which I probably should, but I just don't feel like any deal you take as a president, like if you go for a long-term deal, because like even if you look at like Trump's trade war that he wanted to have with China, in the end I feel like it would have been very beneficial, but the problem is it had to go long-term for us to see any payout from it, and it just didn't go long-term, and it's not going to. So like, I
do want to retract my statement from earlier about Bush being a better speaker because person to make speeches, because
now you're thinking Trump, about it, right?
I'm thinking, hey, dude, he flipped an entire country in less than a year.
Say what you want. Like, here's my thing. Trump, of all things, was a very, very good speaker in the fact that he spoke in a way that resonated with people. Like, how simple. It was simple, but it was... So, like, me and Devin had the discussion of what people look for in leaders and stuff like that. And the conversation was along the line, can you take complex things and simplify it down? And that's what Trump did very well, while also keeping those things very, very vague. So like
extremely vague.
So that whenever it came down to it, his base couldn't criticize and be like, well, that's not quite what we wanted. He kept it vague every time. Immigration's bad. Some of the worst immigration we've ever had. I'm going to fix it. Never gives you a real policy of how he's going to fix it. He doesn't give you anything to pick apart. And then once it starts getting to the table, the Democrats are, why aren't people picking this apart? This is the problem with this. This is the problem with that. Like, but because his base didn't hear it from the horse's mouth, they wouldn't attack it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's
We're
very
just gonna get the best experts. We're gonna get the best plan. It's gonna be terrific. We'll be number one.
That's my thing. Is like, Trump was very good at resonating with people. Like, he spoke in a cadence that people understood. Like, he spoke to a very good base, and I can't I can't fault him.
No, I mean, but so okay. Sorry, I changed the topic just a little bit, but what is going on with the Asian hate crime, dude?
So
I keep hearing about that, and it's like getting really intense.
So here's the thing: is since the pandemic and everything happened, Asian hate crimes have been skyrocketing since the pandemic hit because of so much. Like, dude,
Trump's Chinese virus.
Yeah, dude, it was around before that. Like, did that help? No, but it was around before that. To pretend otherwise is just asinine. Like,
oh no, I'm not saying it didn't exist before.
It was there before that, dude. Even people I worked with,
though.
Even I worked with. It's like just now that we don't have anything else to talk about, they're putting a spotlight on it. And like, of course, we had a major shooting involving it, so of course people are going to look at that critical issue. Like, if there's a spotlight on it, that's what people are going to talk about, even if it's been an existing problem that's been happening since like it hit. It's just now had a major event that can get people to look at it.
You know what's interesting is there was a protest by my work like a couple months ago. My coworker's like, yeah, dude, there's like it was only Asian protesters. Like, I'm not sure what they were protesting, but they're walking around City Hall downtown. I was like, that's interesting. I didn't know what. I was like, I wonder what that's for. Because like, I thought it was something for the election or something.
No, they probably felt extremely ostracized. Like, because like that's the thing. Like, dude, I had people that I even worked with who were scared to work with Asian customers, and I'm like, dude, are you dumb? Like, these people have been over here the whole time. Why the hell would you ever think about that? Like,
it's like.
It's ignorance.
It's
what sense. It is. Yeah. But that's the argument, is that there's such ignorance with people that they don't understand the actual thing and they don't think logically. Like, that's the argument with racism in general. It comes from ignorance.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
I don't know, dude.
It has blown up. It has blown up this past week. of course, Asian hate and like racism has always been there. But yeah, this past week since that shooting, it's just gone as a huge movement to stop Asian hate, and I don't understand the companies. I just don't understand companies. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we just want to let you know here at company that you buy from, we don't support Asian hate. It's like, oh, thank God. I thought you did. And I thought you did. I was so sure that you supported Asian hate. Thank God you spoke out about that.
Bro,
thanks, Target.
We would have had a problem.
I mean, we've been over
like,
this though.
Mean?
Is that like the same thing though? Like there are some companies that feel they have to put that message out because if they don't, they're gonna be like, "Oh, so you support it because you didn't say anything about it." It's like being the bystander and letting it happen.
Cancer.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like to be honest, a lot of companies I haven't come out, and said that they just straight up hate cancer. So it's like, they must support it. Like, you know what I mean? It's the idea of that of if you don't speak out against it, you were the bystander that let it happen, so it's now your fault too.
Just like, I don't know. I just picture a racist seeing that and being like, I don't know. Do they run out of options to shop at?
I feel like there's this.
It could also just be the CEO or the owner of those companies being like, hey, I have a platform. I could say something, and then individuals will be like, wow, this is a big company, and they're wasting, or not wasting, but they're spending money to go towards this campaign. It
could be that, and the reason why it feels so disingenuous is like I forget. I want to say I was listening to Matthew Mercer on a podcast, and he was talking about the fact that they have a huge fan base. But the problem with it is he's like, imagine, like, he got it from someone else, but he was talking about the fact of like, imagine you're in a giant robot suit and you're trying to stop something. Like, you forget how big that arm is and the path of destruction it can be, even if you had good intent on it. So there's not going to be that CEO that takes a nuanced stance on it of like, this is the nuance, this is the hot take, this is how it is, it blows it down perfectly. And there's that chance that if they take that risk, it backfires 100% by the damage it causes.
Well, yeah, but that's why you confront like his board and his press team. Be like, all right, guys, good PR, not good PR.
That's
like,
just it, though.
Right,
that's
guys,
why I'm saying it gross.
Are we?
It's such a broad...
like in a boardroom.
Well,
yeah.
Are we in and out or on the Asians? Like, how are we thinking about the Asian thing?
It's not that. It's that. Let's say I.
No, it has to make the decision. Yeah.
It's like that's what I'm saying is the reason why you get that is because of that board and that PR team. Because like, dude, you can't take a nuanced stance. That's dangerous. So your PR team and your board's gonna be like, no, that's way too much. Let's dial it back. Let's keep it safe. Let's send that same message, but we'll send it in a safe manner. So, hey, by the way, we don't support that. We stand with those people who are being oppressed. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to take a very safe approach to it because that nuanced stance is, like, if you take a nuanced stance, you can deal so much damage that it's not worth the risk to those companies.
I just wonder, I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't own one of these big companies, but I'm also like, I don't know. Like, does it really matter? I just want to know. I don't know because I haven't been in one of those groups and then seen something like that and been like, I'm glad they said that. Like, I don't know. Like Oreo is making the gay Oreo a few years ago that got people mad. Like, I don't know. Or like.
Oreo's made it gay.
That really does it? Yeah, it was a rainbow Oreo. Okay, it was a pride Oreo. But I don't know. Like, I'm just wondering, like, for that group, is it like, I'm glad Oreo made a rainbow Oreo? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to a lot of things that it's like, dude, you just can't take a nuanced stance when you're that high up. It just can't happen because if you do, you risk too much.
Like,
it's not gonna happen.
But it's like, I don't know. It's like there's so many other things, they would face. Coming out to their family, being shunned by friends who maybe just actually had a different opinion the whole time. There's so many other things they face.
Oh, I mean, it's
their favorite cookie needs to make sure they like. I don't know where is that?
My thing is like I get it. It's right. It's with the right intent. Like, hey, we want to do this because we want them to feel welcome. But at the same time, it's like, dude, it's like the idea of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because it's like, hey, we want to make this cookie representing gay people, and it's like, all right. Like, you're doing it for the right reason. You want them to feel included, but at the same time, it's like, hey, we're people too, and we just like the cookie the way that it is. Why does it doesn't, we don't need it to take a stance. Like, there's always going to be that side argument. I'm sure that when they did that, there were some gay people that were just all in favor of it, of like, I really like this. This is a good thing. And then there were some people who were really offended by it. Like, no matter what, that's a no-win situation. And that's what, like, PR teams and stuff like that try to avoid, is a no-win situation.
There was people outraged. Like, I can't believe y'all did this. I'm never eating your Oreos again. It's like, okay, go ahead. That's fine. But the other thing is, like, it's Pride. Like, every Pride month, like, at this point in time, every company goes rainbow on their logo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm just saying, like, just like if a company doesn't, like, I don't assume they hate gay people. I don't assume that if they just don't. So like Xbox turning their logo rainbow for 30 days on their Twitter, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's just companies trying to show that they're in touch with their consumers.
I mean, it is to a degree, but like, I mean, look at the same side of it. Is like, dude, think about like, what was it when you could do that on Facebook and you could put a pride flag in your photo and stuff like that, and it would do the background like that. People still did it not being gay, and it's like, dude, like, there's part of me that's like, I'm glad you're doing that. I know you're doing it for the right reasons, and then it's like, there's some people who are doing it just to be the hero. You know what I mean? So it's like,
so and see, it's funny at that level. I get it. It's just like, hey, showing my friends, like, hey, like,
but
it is. But I'm also kind of like, I feel like you would already know. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like at that level, it's like more, you know what I mean? So is that how they view it? It's like, oh, this company. I don't know. Because here's the thing. Xbox can turn their logo rainbow for a month. Oreo can make the Pride Oreo. There could be some factory worker who's like, no, I hate gay people. I work here.
I mean, that's the thing with anything, though, right? Like,
not everybody's gonna be on the same page. To think that everyone in one company is gonna be on the same page as like outlandish. You can't get 5 people on the same page sometimes.
I think it's more just the idea of like, it's hard to separate a company, and because like you think of a company as an individual when it's not an individual. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird concept, and it's hard for me to follow. Is like, it's people, but it's not a person. Like, it's a conglomerate of people, but at the end of the day, it's really not. Because like, think about like how we feel about our customer base and how we're like, these people are stupid. This stuff shouldn't happen. This doesn't make sense. Like, but the company's like, no, you should. So like, if we have an upset customer, or like this customer's just being irrational and they're just wrong, their stance is wrong. But you know, if the corporate head gets it, he's like, no, oh my God, we're so sorry this happened to you. This never should have happened. Oh my God. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things that it's like, who really is, what do you really consider the conglomerate of the company? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how far does that reach actually go? Because you know the people on the front lines are never aligning with what the head actually thinks. And it's like, how far does that stretch go? Like, does it go from CEO or like board CEO, and then you go down, it's like, okay, you have your department heads, they all feel the same. Like, how far does that reach go down?
I would imagine it'd go all the way to the bottom depending on the company, because it's your culture.
Okay, so
I mean, it's the culture in the store. It's just like H-E-B. I remember like people, I don't know, they technically, the people on the bottom represent the company. People are like, this is what I like to come here for.
Can it happen? Yes. But like, like you're saying, like, I feel like it can be that way. It can be that way, but like,
it can. I'm saying it always is.
Yeah, it's because I can give you a clear example as to where it's not. Because like, is it possible? Yes. And that's what I'm saying is why it's such a hard thing to distinguish, because not every single one is the same. Because, like, I mean, look at Chick-fil-A, for instance, right? Like, CEO company comes out and they're like, we don't like gay people. We don't support gay marriage. But I guarantee you, if you walk into a Chick-fil-A and talk to the actual employees there, you'll probably find, like, one or two that are like, no, I have no problem with it. I actually support it highly. I still work for the company, though.
Yeah. Probably even the majority of them, they're like, you know what, dude? I make good money here, and I enjoy my quality of life.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. I'm here for a job, and it's fun, you know, or whatever. So, yeah, no, exactly. It can be completely different at the top, but which is funny. It's funny because, like, I think they quit donating to those charities they were. But it's like, again, that people are going to eat their chicken sandwiches. People are going to eat their Oreos. People are going to go to Target. People are going to go start, like.
Yeah.
I mean, Chick-fil-A all the time, dude.
That's my thing. Is like at the end of the day,
exactly.
Like is it? Like it's hard, it's a complex thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like it's kind of like everything we've discussed like kind of agrees with my theory of like, dude, it's hard to look at a company and decide really what it is. Like when you think of like what is the thought process of this company as a whole, what is it? It's just too difficult because they're so large and there's so many moving pieces in it that it's hard to kind of define and kind of hammer out that rigid design that it has to be kind of broad.
It has to be a removable object, okay? Chick-fil-A, when the controversy was real, like, yeah, we don't support gay people or whatever, you're not getting rid of Chick-fil-A. People are going to keep eating their chicken sandwiches. Like, there's no way around that. With Xbox, if for some reason some people didn't like Xbox having a rainbow logo, okay, who plays Xbox? 8-year-olds all the way up to like 18-year-olds.
It's like 50, bro.
You're not buying your own Xbox till when you're like 20 plus. Do those kids care? No. They're, you know what I mean? So it's like, it has to be a removable thing. It's like, hey, no, Mom, I want that for Christmas. And by the way, I'm going to call people the F word on live chat. But I'm cool with gay people. I actually have no problem with gay people, but I'm going to use that word on chat all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like, it has to be a movable, like a removable object. Like think of a company that you could live without. If they did something stupid, if a company you lived without did something stupid, you know what I mean? Then it could. It could.
And still, I probably wouldn't even care unless it was some drastic thing. Like, my opinion is not going to reach it to the CEO and board. I mean, like,
not only not because it's a company you don't care about. You're like, well, I wasn't shopping there in the first place.
Exactly.
Whatever you got going on over there, like, go ahead.
That's
like,
cool. Do you, man? It's a free country. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
unless there's like straight up hate
Apple,
crime, like if they were like refusing service to gay people or something, or like, you know, like every person that came in, like, hey, you have to tell us your sexuality and refuse service. That would be something I'd probably be like, all right, I won't shop there anymore. But them just like having their opinion on it, whatever.
Like here's my thing when it comes to stuff like that is like, let's go through practically if they really wanted to do that. How are we verifying? You know what I mean?
Really?
Like, how are you verifying?
Know,
it's so like, even if you get in the same argument of like white nationalists and stuff like that, the hardest question to get them to define, if you're like, okay, so you want to separate us by race, all right, cool, what do you consider white? What justifies white? It always comes down to the same thing. Well, you'll know it when you see it. And it's like, no, that's not it. Like, if you look at the broad spectrum of what's considered white, like if you go by like what Hitler's standards of white were, half the people who are in favor of it and want that, it's like, dude, you don't qualify. You're not in that camp. So it's like, it's one of those things that you can't hammer that down. So like, okay, I can just go in and lie. Like, are you gay? Nope, I'm straight. Okay, how are you going to verify it? You can't pull DNA to find it. There is no gay gene, so it's like, how are we identifying this?
I've only heard of like it actually happening in a business once. There's like a couple that did wedding cakes in Arkansas or something, and they like straight up.
It was for a wedding.
They like straight up refused a couple. They're like, no, we won't do that for you. And I don't know. I was like,
My argument.
I mean, it's a private business. They could do what they want.
That's my thing. Is
I don't agree with it. I probably won't shop there, but I'm not gonna go like burn down their business.
My thing is,
I don't know.
Like, okay, so you say that to a degree because it's like it's such a stance, but like, I mean, so like bringing it back to tattoos to a degree, tattoo artists can decide they don't want to work with you because you're not willing to compromise and work with them. You know what I mean? So like, my thing is, if they don't want to make that, they don't have to make that. Like, to try to force someone to do something they don't want to do, like, regardless of whether it's for the wrong reasons for them, that's their choice. That you don't get to make that decision for them.
Yeah, but if you're getting refused service based off of prejudice, then your business should fail, in my opinion. I think that's messed up. Like, if it was like a black couple that walked in, they're like, yeah, we don't do business with your kind, they would have been shut down, dude. But they said it to a gay couple, and they're like, well, people have opinions on that.
So like, there's that argument, but to me, it's like, it's to a degree, it's private business. You know what I mean? Like, the argument should be like, can a private business do that to a degree? Like, hey, I don't feel comfortable making that.
You can refuse, service.
Like, people, it depends, I guess, with how and reason. And then I believe, I don't know if I'm right on this, but I want to say that when you look into that story, they went to that cake shop knowing specifically those people wouldn't do it. Like, they did it on purpose. It was a setup. And it's like,
yeah, that's stupid.
I understand it to a degree, but it's like, dude, come on, you're seeking out the issue. Like, the truth is like, but it's to expose an issue.
I mean, it'd be the same thing if there was a prejudice. Back to the same thing. If there's a prejudice shop that wouldn't serve,
I don't know,
black people or Hispanic people or women. What if there's a place that's like, nah, if you're female, you can't get help?
Like, I guess
that'd be an uproar.
Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of like, for me, it's hard for me to decide really where I am on it, because I'm very conflicted on it. I'm very much the fact of like,
they did seek out conflict.
A private business should be able to make whatever decision they want to make to a degree, and like, we've decided you can't do it with prejudice, and it's like, okay, I agree with that to a degree, and it's like, it's hard for me to draw a line, because like, think about it, like, if we take it in a broad thing and we don't make it something so serious. Okay, well, let's talk about the fact that most restaurants, like some high-end restaurants, have a dress code. Oh, that's prejudice to poor people, isn't it?
Could be.
So you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where that conflict comes up for me, and it's like, okay, so where do we draw the line? Because to a degree, their argument was, well, that goes against our religious beliefs. It's like, I don't.
That's what I was saying. It's in the Bible.
It's you, like, you're using it to justify your action, but at the same time, like, I support your ability to believe whatever religion you want. It's like a hard thing for me to draw lines on. Like, I get it to a degree, and I think it's like, it sucks that person won't do that. But there's also that part of me that thinks, like, private industry wise, of like, okay, well, if that business doesn't want to do that, it should fail in the system if enough people understand that it should fail. And it's like,
so it's a removable business. It's a removable business because you're like, that cake place doesn't affect my life because I don't get cakes often or ever.
So here's the thing: is it's a dangerous thought process to it, because I'm like, okay, well, that's how I feel it should work. But I mean, think about it. We had white businesses only, black businesses only. Well, the problem is,
there were segregation laws. You had to, bro.
Well, even then, like, it was segregation laws, but it was backing up what those businesses were already doing in the first place, if you get what I'm saying. Like, while there were laws, those laws were reinforcing what the business was already doing. It just justified what they were doing. Like, let's be honest, if they didn't have, like, let's say we take away those segregation laws of it has to be that way, the government had to force it to be diverse. You know what I mean? Like, the blacks and white only schools, and how the government had to reach in and force it to mix. So it's like, if we let private business decide, they could decide in a very discriminatory manner if they have enough power. So like, there's that part of me that's like, God, where do I draw the line on it, and what do I think is really good? And for me, it's like, I don't want to say something as broad as it's a case-by-case basis, because it's like, dude, I want to give a better definition to it, but I can't, and that's where I kind of have that conflict in it.
Yeah.
It's the removable business thing. Like I want to see an unremovable business like go ham and push the boundaries of what's possible,
Amazon.
making crazy stances. Yeah, or like Apple. Like I want them to come out and say like we have decided that Tim Cook is the reborn Christ.
Well, okay.
And we have identified Jeff Bezos as the Antichrist. And we are taking a complete stance on this. You can't get rid of all your Apple products. And most people won't care. They'll be like,
here's the argument that Apple's already doing that, though. Apple uses practically slave labor from China.
Yep.
Most companies do, right?
How many people use their product who are very much against that, right? Like, I forget, I want to say it was Ricky Gervais and the Emmys who made fun of Apple for that. Of, like, all these high-up celebrities who are like, oh, this is so bad, but we still shop there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's not a removable business. Yeah, it's like, well, though it sucks for those kids, but, you know.
Same thing with Nike, Aeropostale, bro. They're all in China.
Yeah, it's like
sweatshops.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to understand where to draw lines on stuff like that, because it's like that's not okay. But at the same time, is it okay for me to pull the product over here and then they can jump the price, like the skyrocket the price on it? Like it's one of those things for me.
It's all a messed up process, dude.
That's just it for me. Is it's like, okay, it's such a messed up process. How do I actually fix it?
There's nothing you could do to fix about it unless it was like on a global scale. Like the entire consumer base was like, yeah, we're boycotting your business and we're going somewhere else because it's corporations that are like internationally powerful. And then, you know, the US is benefiting, China's benefiting, the people in the middle, like, why would they stop that?
Well, so like that's where you get into that side argument of like, is America really benefiting from it where it could be benefiting more? Because it's like, dude, let's be honest. If we were able to move Apple's manufacturing back into the U.S., that would be a huge thing for our economy. That would provide so many more jobs. But it's like, okay,
it wouldn't be the same.
It skyrockets the price.
It would, yeah. Apple's products would immediately skyrocket because the amount, we're in a country where we have a minimum wage, and then we like are wired to demand higher wages for more complex or skilled, jobs.
Here's my problem is I feel like at the top, because like think about it, how much do you think they're really throwing into R&D research? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure.
Like R&D, research and development, of like, we're gonna try this and make it into this. You know what I mean? Like, how much BS money are they throwing at that? You know what I mean? Where it's
I would say quite a bit, considering like the iPad was in development for like 10 years before it was released. So I would say they're like always throwing crap.
So like, let's say if I were to make the argument to you that those prices are inflated, and that if the company actually had if the company had the right intentions, they'd be able to pull those over here, keep the prices the same if they stopped wasting money on products that
I agree.
really weren't what
I agree 100%. But did they want to do that? No. Why would they stop doing that? That's all their money.
Exactly. Man. I don't disagree, but it's like that's like my argument is that it's so flawed to a degree of how do we fix it without radical change? Well, it comes down to you need people to do the right thing, and when it comes to a business like that, they're not doing the right thing. So, like, even if you take a look at Apple, like, with how profitable they actually are, they could actually probably do that, keep the prices the same, keep spending what they're spending, and they'd probably still be profitable. But
they definitely would be.
The problem with them still being profitable is the way with the stock market works is we don't care if it's profitable. It has to be more profitable than it was last year.
Yeah, and they would take the hit because they'd be paying wages, health insurance, all that.
Well, like even then, like it's just never. It has nothing to like. I get what you're saying to a degree, and I could be just missing your point on it. But like when it comes down to those like wage, like you're saying, well, they'll have that price increase here and here and here. What I'm saying is that business would still be profitable. It's just not as profitable as it could have been the next year. And it's
I agree with you.
It's frustrating to me to a degree.
It's corporate greed.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be that way. So like at the end of the day, like to switch it would have to be so radical to fix the problem.
They have enough money.
Yeah, and
there's enough money. I mean, it's just corporate greed.
Yeah.
There's enough money to pay people more than what people get paid. What the CEOs, average CEO pay in like the 70s and 80s was like 40 to 50 times the bottom employee. Now it's 400 times.
You're looking at that, but even then, like, you could still keep those wages the same. That's not what's stopping the company from being able to do that.
I know, dude. I agree. I'm not arguing with you. Yeah, I agree, dude. Like, there is enough money. It's almost unfathomable the amount of money that these top people have, but there's a system set up where they're like, I mean, people work with this, and there's nothing they can do to stop it because we run the world. Like, the global cabal, bro. They're above government.
For me,
like, they do what they want to do on an international level.
For me, it doesn't come down to a global cabal or anything like that. It's the people themselves have funded it this way. And I mean people as in like wide reaching, you and me, we've grown acceptant to that, and it got down too far down the rabbit hole. Because
it's become discouraged by our media. So nowadays, when we complain about, the minimum wage needs to be raised, elderly people and boomers are like, hey, you're being selfish. This is a job that you need to get paid this amount for.
That's not even the argument against minimum wage raising. The argument against minimum wage raising, that's not what you hear.
Inflation.
No, it has nothing to do.
The prices will go up. That's what I hear from old people all the time. Dude.
Those people aren't looking at the real genuine argument and what the actual politicians are looking at. What the actual politicians are looking at, and you can't tell me I'm wrong, is that it would murder small business. And exactly what the left doesn't want to have is more corporate power and stuff like that. Because let's be honest, let's say we raise those wages. Every mom and pop store is going to crash into the dirt because they cannot take the loss like other companies can, because most businesses aren't. It doesn't even come down to that. Even when we were at our height, small businesses can't afford to pay that. So it's like one of those things that like we push so much small business that like if those prices were to go to that, dude, those businesses aren't profitable or they're barely holding afloat, and that's not why people want to start a business.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I mean, maybe you could split it somewhere between small and corporate business and what your wages should be.
Okay, but so here's the argument. Okay, so if I split the responsibility of like, okay, this big company should be pitching in for small businesses to be able to succeed at the same thing. It's like, well, doesn't that go against the core value? They shouldn't be supporting their competitor. Like if you go to capitalism like at its brute force of what it.
Bro, why did we bail out GM? Why did we bail out Wall Street, dude? There's no free market.
Why did we bail out GM? That made sense to me. We did that because of jobs. It hurt the little guy.
I'm saying I'm not
bailing out Wall Street. I
said that wrong. But my point is, you said it's free. You're not supposed to comport your competitors. What's supposed to fail should fail. We made it not free. We checked it.
There you
go, American Airlines.
So that's my argument of like if you like why I don't believe you can take capitalism to the fullest degree. So my stance isn't that it's like that should be how it's run, but if you look at capitalism and its base idea, I actually made this argument in high school when it came to communism versus capitalism, and I was like, look at capitalism as what it is. It's like you have a different perception of what capitalism actually is. Like if you look at the root idea of it, it is for the strong to survive and the weak to get snuffed out, and that is how it works at the fullest degree. There's a reason why we have to put regulations on it, and that's because if we let capitalism run wild, it would destroy everything,
turn into the Gilded Age again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so that what you were saying about the like the CEOs bringing companies back over here, I mean, like, I've always thought that, but maybe I was making the wrong argument. Maybe it's not minimum wage, but we get discouraged, I feel like, now to fight for workers' rights. Like, I feel like it's just like, you just need to pull up your bootstrap. Like, you just need to chill out. You're complaining. But back in, like, the early 1900s to the mid, and then the 1800s, the industrial age, like, everyone always went on strike and fought for workers' rights. But now if you go on strike, you're demonized. You're like, those are just lazy people. They don't want to do their job.
No, so there's two different sides of it. So like there's arguments that unions are good in some industries and bad in some industries. So
I've heard it's bad in the prison guard union. I've heard that's bad. They're part of the reason the drug war is still happening.
Well, I mean, look at, like, even if we want to take something that's even more kind of up to date, look at police unions. Yeah. Right? They have the right intention. We want to save cops from, getting fired over stupid things that aren't their fault. But at the same time, because of how much power those unions hold, you can't fire the actual bad apples. You can't fire the people who are actually messing up. So, like, unions as a whole have pros and cons to it, just like anything else. And there's some industries where it makes sense, and some industries it doesn't.
At least there's some sort of balance, some sort of sway back and forth.
Well, I mean, that's the whole idea of our country, is we're supposed to be having those conflicting ideas and figuring out what is good and bad in it.
That's what I'm saying. That's a good thing.
Yes, like, while that's happening, it's understanding that those things are going to take extreme time, and I guess it comes down to the radical, like how everyone's so far each direction. That's how it feels. Is like you're either really, really far right or you're really, really far left.
I hate that so much.
I feel like that's the same problem when it comes to, like, okay, let's raise the minimum wage. On the surface, I'm like, that's a great idea, but I understand the downsides to it. And the problem is, we're not willing to meet in the middle because no one's coming up with that middle ground idea, because nobody has any idea as to what it would be. And for us to perfect it, it's going to be super hard. Now,
I mean, I thought
the thing with the protest, the strike, building of a union, like the workers standing up, like we talked about that one time, is like, you got to get everyone to do it. You also, the other thing is, you have to actually be willing to walk away. And that's the problem, is that 99% of people do not have a second thing they're doing, do not have an easy job they can jump to. They're tied with golden handcuffs that they built for themselves. So they don't have walking away power. So your stage or your stance you take makes you look like a clown, because you can't, if they call your bluff, it's a bluff. Whereas if you're in a different position, when every job pays a penny a day or a penny an hour, you have walking away power. You can just go work at a different factory. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just so, you can't just go grab another job. You can grab a very bottom of the barrel job. Yeah, $7.25. Yeah, you can hop around pretty easy. But it's like, again, if that was a livable wage, you'd be able to hop around a lot. You can't.
So I was thinking maybe the free market is correcting itself over time, because I've noticed, like, even like 3 or 4 years ago, HEB starts at like 10 an hour. Now they're starting at like 12 to 13 an hour just to be a bagger. I talked to a customer that works at McDonald's and makes 12 an hour as a fry cook. Yeah, I mean, Panda Express is like 10 plus. So it's adjusting to people's needs.
So that's the argument as to why a lot of places don't need to raise the minimum wage. Why are we raising the minimum wage when the market is already correcting itself? Like, that's kind of the argument too, is like, the market corrects itself. Like, the whole idea is we shouldn't have to put in regulations because it'll correct itself the way it's supposed to be. Now, I don't fully agree with that idea, because there are obvious things that, like, it's just not working, and it's gotten too far to one direction where it can't recover. And that's the thing, is like, I feel like it's trying to keep it on the rails, but still let it go where it needs to go. So it's like, just like a toddler, when I guess toddler, I don't know, I have a lot of experience with kids, but like, you want to get them in a certain direction. Can you just pick them up and walk them to where you want? Yes, but at the same time, it's like, you can kind of corral it to where you want it to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
And if it chooses to fight back, you're kind of screwed, and you're at the whims again. That toddler has walking away power. That toddler has walking away power. You don't.
You're not tied to nothing.
I don't know.
Right, exactly. You're tied to him, which in reality, you are tied to the workers. That is the truth. If there are no workers, remember when COVID first kicked off and everything went silent and the world was weird for like 4 weeks? The grocery stores were low on supplies because they didn't have the people to drive the trucks, to drive the oranges. And then the farmer, like the whole chain effect of things, like that is proof right there that things just work. I was thinking about this again. I got stuck behind a school bus today, and I'm just like, they have to collect all the addresses from the parents. Then from that list, they say, is your child riding the bus or not? Okay, riding the bus. That's another list. Then they get the bus drivers. And they're like, all right, here's your territory, map it out. Here's your territory, map it out. And they have to make sure it's efficient and there's not too much overlap. And what's the best route to take and what time they need to get there. And then the bus drivers do one thing, drive the bus. There's other things, that's the main thing. Drive the bus as safely as possible, okay, and map out the routes and take care of that. Then you have mechanics who work on the bus. That is not the person who drives it. You know what I mean? So you have a system there, like all these things just work. And there's also someone who makes the bus. And there's also the way the lines are cut on the bus is designed in a certain way. And it's regulated how the bus is made for safety protocols. Who decides the safety protocols? Mm-hmm. So yeah, the power's in the workers, to be honest. We just don't treat it that way.
It's a very thin fabric that holds together society. Mm-hmm. You said, we shut down for 4 weeks and we almost like, whoa, like where's everything?
I don't know.
Toilet paper is gone. Certain food's gone. Restaurants, businesses closed down forever, not coming back.
But so like the thing that made me so mad about like, oh, we're so scarce on this. It wasn't a real scarcity. It was the fact that there was just a higher demand because people freaked out.
I mean, in a way, that's a scarcity because they bought it and they can't have it in store. They can't produce it at a rate.
Yeah, it's because
everybody bought something at once. We bank that doesn't happen. Like nobody's gonna buy all the toilet paper at once.
Well, like that's happen. That's my thing though. Is like you can't predict stupid in those systems. Like, dude, the people who freaked out and bolt bought and everything else, it's like, dude, you're the reason why there's a scarcity. You realized if you had just shopped as normal like everyone else, you would have been fine. But thank you for creating the problem.
Convince human beings not to be selfish when just look at the world. I can't even go on that. Look around.
Dude, no, not even that. Just especially in the free market, like the way we're raised, you're out for yourself. Like it's capitalism, bro. Like, and we live on a week to week basis. So not only do like most citizens not have more than just their most recent check in their account, like pretty much the country does, dude. We're like super in debt. Like everyone is like 1 week away from exploding.
It is human. It is human nature. Have you seen toddlers play together? They're extremely selfish. Yeah. Like, it is human nature. So, let's try to stop everybody and be like, don't buy all the toilet paper at once. Not happening. It obviously didn't happen. Yeah. Like, it's just human nature. Hey, can you not be selfish? Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, but like that's kind of my arguments of why I guess that's why I hate most people is because like I judge most people as being selfish and only out for themselves, and I guess there's that part of me that just wants to justify that I'm not that way. You know what I mean?
Most people are,
and
dude.
The thing is, I probably am selfish. I just don't realize I'm selfish. Just like everyone else who did that, they probably didn't realize they were being selfish.
Like Devin said,
or they did, and they also don't care. They're like, yeah, I'm being kind of selfish, but I don't care because I'm going to take care of myself over other people, which is just kind of how it goes. Like,
sometimes it's healthy to be a little selfish. Sometimes, you have to be.
It can be.
Sometimes it's an act of bravery. Sometimes it's an act of bravery.
Yeah, well, I remember how brave I felt stealing all the toilet paper.
My thing is
not that.
I'm just messing with you, dude. I'm just messing with you. I know what you're talking about. But like I'm saying, like just driving on the road, how selfish people get driving if you've been in densely populated areas, the way they cut you off and don't slow down. That is just being selfish. Like, you're not getting into my lane.
I think about that when people like haul ass and they get around everyone when I'm like going to work. And then I'm like, man, that person almost caused like 2 wrecks. And then I pull up behind him at the light right there by work, like 5 or 10 minutes later. I'm like, so you beat us here by like 20 seconds and probably you almost killed people. Was that worth it? Was it worth the gas, the stress on your vehicle? Like, no.
I don't know.
We noticed that on the road trip too, dude, driving for hours straight. like we went around someone and then like we stopped at a rest area and we're like, yeah, that person's way behind us. Went to the restroom, came out, and then we see them pulling. Like, it wasn't worth it. Like, it's the same.
Here's my argument: is there's also because like I find myself doing the same thing, but like my rationale and justification on it is like, dude, there is a point. So like, let's say someone's driving way too slow. There's that.
It can be dangerous. Yes,
it's dangerous, and there's also that part of me of like, I don't feel comfortable driving behind you because you don't even feel comfortable enough to go the speed limit. So, like, even if you're gonna catch back up to me, it's like, I would rather be in front of you than behind you because of the way you're driving.
That I understand.
So, like, that's
if
how I
going
rationalize
the speed limit and people are, like, speeding over the speed limit around you. More of that.
And so going severely slow, like, let's say it's 16, sketchy. You're going 30, no, it's equally selfish.
Yes, I would agree. Because, dude, I've almost had wrecks that way, like just going on the highway and like they don't have brake lights on because they're just coasting at like 40 miles an hour on the highway. And I'm just like, whoa, like this person just come up on me.
Yeah, but at the same time, we've also dissected the fact that you're also not doing safe things while you're driving. So it's kind of your fault as well. Like, dude, that's why I hate insurance claims and stuff like that. Why everyone's like, well, insurance never rules in my favor. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I can always backtrack the argument of like, well, had your driver been doing this, you would have been safe. That would have never happened. Because you can always chalk it up to something could have been done to prevent it.
Yeah. Anything. You can always look back. Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, dude, I can't stand insurance companies when it comes to cars. It's like, I get that I have to have it, but it's never going to rule in your favor, bro. You just have to understand that. It's always going to be your fault.
Yeah, they're in court, and they're like, lawyer one is like, well, see, my client was watching TikToks, which are in a shorter form, and they are more stimulating. And lawyer two is like, well, you see, no, my client was watching YouTube in long form. So he is staying on one piece of content, tuned into it, while your client was mindlessly scrolling TikTok to TikTok. That's going to be kind of the defense.
That's like a physical
what were
action
you watching
scroll.
at the time of impact? What were they watching? It's David Dobrik and the Vlog Squad.
Jesus Christ, dude.
The Vlog Squad, dude.
All right. So y'all got anything else y'all want to cover?
Honestly, I mean, no, I'm good, brother.
What about you, Devin? You got anything else?
I've not eaten in 49 hours as of 60 seconds.
Dang. Clayton's face is like,
I'm going for 72 this time. You don't make it happen.
Yeah, dude. Holocaust diet, best diet. But realistically, do you have any topics you want to cover?
Nah, we covered a lot today. This is the longest. This is the latest we've ever went. We also started later. So.
Yeah, we did start late today.
All right. So okay. So we need to do an outro is what we need to do instead of rolling back into conversation like we normally do if we're ending it.
Let the people decide what the outro is.
Is that what we're wanting to do for the outros? Let the people decide?
Let the people decide.
No. What's our Instagram?
Nobody named Kevin.
That's it?
Yeah, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's just Nobody Named Kevin.
I'm pretty sure on every platform we're Nobody Named Kevin. So just look us up.
Kevin,
if we're on the platform, you'll find us. But this is
all we have right now is Instagram and Twitter. But it's Nobody Named Kevin Podcast. That's what it is.
All right. So this has been the Nobody Named Kevin Podcast. Thank you for listening.